Hey there, it's day 104 with Walk with Winston. I hope that you're having a really good day today. I am back in Tampa, short sleeve weather here, and it's so fresh and invigorating to be out in this temperature. So different from our tropical season. So on our walks together, the common theme that we talk about all the time is exploring the resistance to change and transformation that many of us feel when we're getting started in moving towards a new chapter, new season of our life. And while we have those goals and while we have those dreams, we sometimes get this real pushback in terms of stepping into that new season. And it's kind of puzzling in terms of we've got this motivating goal, we've got this desire deep in our heart, and yet we're not stepping forward into that new season for some odd reason. Well, one of the things we've explored a lot is the need for a rock-solid belief. Talked about that a few episodes ago, where my dad set his mind to something and did not waver, and was able to, years later, timing took a while, but years later, buy the house of his dreams that he saw on the 8th grade bus through a series of coincidences. Well, so so what's the opposite of belief? Well, in English, unbelief. Maybe we're double-minded about certain things. We think one thing about it, then we think another thing about it, and then we have these options rolling through our head. And so how do we attack this unbelief or this double-mindedness? Well, the Bible sometimes calls those strongholds. How do we combat strongholds and unbelief? That's the topic for today. I think it really starts with exploring those messages, those comments that we make to ourselves about our goals and our desires, that somehow we are not worthy of those goals. Somehow, what steals a lot of our joy is comparing ourselves to others, comparing our race to their race, comparing our backstage to their front stage. And perhaps it's this deep-seated habitual pattern that we've had in our life that has really been unexplored. And that's my encouragement to us today, is these strongholds and these unbeliefs, these limiting beliefs, mistaken beliefs, whatever term you want to use is, we have to really look into those and listen to how we talk to ourselves about these things. I saw a teaching earlier over the weekend that was a reframe of self-talk. We will sometimes be very self-critical. And when we start to pay attention to that self-criticism, we realize that we wouldn't tolerate anybody else saying that about us. So why would we tolerate it ourselves? And so if you feel like you're running up against a wall in your belief system, maybe now's the time to start jotting those down and noticing those statements that you make about yourself, about that dream, about that goal, that's disempowering. That's the one thing about words. They're so powerful. And yet, our reaction, the meaning that we give things, is totally within our control. We don't control the external world or the situations that surround us, but we have absolute power and responsibility for the meanings that we give those incidents in our life. So the more that we pay attention to these triggers, the more we pay attention to these strongholds, and really start to adopt what God says about us as the truth, we can begin to break those strongholds, those soul ties, whatever term you want to use. They're super powerful and they hold us back. So my encouragement to us today is, if we feel stuck, we feel like we're not making progress, really start digging into those belief structures so that we can face them head first. Only by facing them and defeating them with the truth will we start to break those strongholds and break those patterns that have been holding us back. God says you're loved, you're His beloved, you're one of a kind, you are a conqueror, you're a victor. I mean, there's so many promises in the Bible that speak about His belief in us and how He treasures us. And as we start incorporating those beliefs, we'll see those strongholds and limiting beliefs start to vaporize. And that's all they are, lies and really a mist. So let's start digging into that. Let's not be afraid of investigating those things that are holding us back, particularly in our belief system. I think as we do that, we'll start to see progress multiply. With that, you guys have a great day. I'll talk to you soon.